Chosen ones, they didn't support you when you were struggling, so don't feel pressure to give them access now that things are starting to shift in your favor. And this is something you need to understand clearly, because as your life begins to change, people who ignored you, doubted you, or stayed silent during your difficult moments will suddenly reappear. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake their presence for support. So stay with me till the end of this message, because what you're about to hear will help you protect your progress. And when you're done, I want you to leave a comment and say, "I choose alignment," if this speaks to you. Because this message is not just information, it is a warning and a confirmation at the same time. You see, when you were in your quiet season, when things were not working, when you were putting in effort without recognition, very few people were there. Some didn't check on you, some didn't believe in you, some watched from a distance without offering anything, and some even doubted you silently while smiling in your face. And that phase revealed everything you needed to know, not just about them, but about yourself, because it showed you who you are when no one is clapping. It showed you your discipline when no one is watching. It showed you your commitment when there is no validation. And that is where your real strength was built, not in the spotlight, but in the silence. But now something is changing. Your energy is different. Your focus is sharper. Your direction is clearer, and your mindset is stronger. And even if everything has not fully manifested yet, there are signs, small shifts, subtle progress, internal growth that is beginning to reflect externally. And when that happens, attention follows, because people are naturally drawn to movement. They notice when something is changing, even if they cannot explain it. And that is when they start to come back. They start showing interest. They start asking questions. They start acting like they've always been part of your journey. They start using familiar language, bringing up old memories, trying to reconnect in ways that feel comfortable. And if you're not aware, you might open the door too quickly. Chosen ones, pay attention, because not everyone who comes back deserves a place in your present. Presence now does not erase absence then, and you must not forget that. Not out of bitterness, but out of awareness, because memory is not for pain, it is for protection. And if you ignore what happened, you will repeat it. If you forget how you were treated, you will accept it again. And if you don't learn from your past, you will recreate it in your future. Just because someone shows up when things are improving does not mean they are aligned with your growth. Sometimes they are responding to your visible progress, not your invisible struggle. They were not there when it was difficult, but now that it looks promising, they want to be included. And that is where you must draw a line, because access is earned, not assumed. Just because someone knows you does not mean they deserve access to you. Just because someone is familiar does not mean they are aligned. And just because someone returns does not mean they are meant to stay. Many people make the mistake of reopening doors without checking why they were closed in the first place. They let emotions override logic. They let familiarity override discernment. And they let nostalgia override growth. And in doing that, they allow the same patterns to repeat. They invite the same energy back into their lives, and they slow down their own progress without realizing it. Chosen ones, you must become intentional with your space, because your environment shapes your direction. The people around you influence your thoughts, your decisions, your habits, and your mindset. And if you allow the wrong people back in, you introduce distractions, you introduce doubt, and you introduce unnecessary complications, and all of that affects your progress, even if it's subtle. Now understand this clearly. This is not about holding grudges. This is not about revenge. This is not about treating people badly. This is about awareness and alignment. It is about recognizing who fits into your current phase and who does not. Because not everyone who was part of your past is meant to be part of your future. And that is a reality you must accept if you want to grow. Loyalty is not proven when things are easy. Loyalty is revealed when things are difficult, when you had nothing to offer but effort, when there was no recognition, no reward, no visible success. Those who stood with you then saw your value before it was obvious. And those are the people who align with your journey, not just your results. And that difference matters more than you think. Now here is something even deeper. Sometimes the return of certain people is not for reconnection. It is for testing. They come back to see if you have changed, to see if you have learned, to see if you will respond differently this time. And if you respond the same way you used, then you have not grown as much as you think. Because growth is not just about progress. It is about different decisions, different boundaries, and different responses. So when they return, don't react immediately. Observe, listen, watch their actions, not just their words. Because words can be adjusted, but patterns are consistent. People can say the right things, but their behavior will always reveal their true alignment. So give it time. Don't rush to reconnect. Don't rush to trust. Don't rush to give access. Because real alignment is proven over time, not in a single moment. Chosen ones, you do not owe everyone access to your life. You do not need to explain your boundaries. You do not need to justify your distance. And you do not need to feel guilty for protecting your peace. Growth requires separation. Elevation requires discipline. And discipline includes knowing when to say no, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it involves people you once cared about deeply. Think about what you are building right now. Think about who you are becoming. Think about the level you are stepping into, because that level requires focus, clarity, discipline, and protection. And not everyone fits into that environment. Some people belong to your past, not your future. And holding on to them will only slow you down, not because they are bad, but because they are not aligned with where you are going. There is a difference between caring about someone and giving them access to your life. You can respect people from a distance. You can wish them well without bringing them back into your space. You can acknowledge the past without reconnecting in the present. And that is maturity. That is awareness. That is growth. Chosen ones, do not let nostalgia pull you back into spaces you have outgrown. Do not let memories override your progress, because the past will always try to feel comfortable, even when it is no longer correct for your future. And if you are not careful, you will choose comfort over growth without realizing it. You have come too far to go backwards. You have grown too much to repeat the same cycles. You have learned too much to ignore what you now understand. So move wisely, stay aware, and protect what you are building, because your next level depends on your ability to maintain boundaries, maintain focus, and maintain alignment. And here is another truth you must accept. Not everyone will understand your distance. Not everyone will agree with your boundaries. Not everyone will like the fact that you have changed. But that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to stay aligned with your purpose, not to make everyone comfortable with your growth, because growth will always create distance between you and those who are not growing in the same direction. Some people will call you different. Some will say you have changed. Some will feel offended by your boundaries. But what they are really reacting to is your evolution, because your growth removes access they once had. And not everyone is comfortable losing access. But chosen ones, you must be comfortable choosing your future over familiarity. You must be comfortable choosing alignment over approval. And you must be comfortable protecting your peace even if it means disappointing others. Now listen carefully. Every level of your life will require a new version of you. And that version cannot exist if you keep holding on to what belongs to your past. You cannot step into something greater while carrying what no longer fits. It will weigh you down. It will distract you. And it will limit your potential. So you must learn to release, not with anger, not with resentment, but with understanding, understanding that everything and everyone has a season, and not every season is meant to last forever. Some people were part of your growth, not your destination. Some were lessons, not lifelong connections. And once their role is complete, it is your responsibility to move forward without trying to recreate what has already served its purpose. Chosen ones, this is where your discipline is tested, not in how you start, but in what you allow as you grow. Because as you elevate, more opportunities will come, more attention will come, and more people will try to re-enter your life. And if you are not grounded, you will allow things that look familiar but are not aligned, and that will slow down everything you have worked for. So stay grounded, stay aware, stay intentional, and most importantly, stay selective. Because not everyone deserves access to the version of you that you fought to become. Now, before you go, I want you to do something important. Drop a comment below and say, I choose alignment if you are ready to protect your space, protect your growth, and move differently from today. Because this is not just about understanding this message. It is about